The moment we saw in Normandy, France this morning, 75 years after the D-Day invasion.
Yeah, and this will likely be the last large gathering of this greatest generation because of their age. We know just 4% of World War II veterans are still alive. This was the scene just moments ago after the commemoration ceremony.
As a flyby that, of course, brings back so many memories of what happened to change the world 75 years ago today. The president addressed gathered veterans along with other world leaders. He talked about the memory and the bravery of those who fought and died there. He also celebrated the surviving veterans who took part in the operation, and many of them were able to make the long trip back to Normandy for today's events. NBC's Lester Holt is in position. He covered the morning for us. Lester, good morning to you.
Savannah, good morning. Emotional, but how could it not with this backdrop here? The over 9,000 graves of U.S. service members, most of whom were killed on D-Day. At this hour, 75 years ago, the invasion was underway, the beginning of the end of World War II. President Trump and the French president in France today, marking the 75th anniversary of D-Day. The Allied landing in Normandy back in 1944 laid the foundation for the defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II. These commemorations at the end of the president's foreign visit, a solemn ceremony to remember those who fought and died here.
On this day, 75 years ago, 10,000 men shed their blood and thousands sacrificed their lives for their brothers, for their countries, and for the survival of liberty.
A tribute to their bravery.
Private Pickett, you honor us all with your presence.
This is one of the last big remembrances for the brave men who battled here.
If you tripped on the barbed wire coming in, you were so top-heavy that if somebody was alongside of you to pick you up, to help you back up, you're dead.
Only a handful are still alive. Tom Rice is one of them, a 97-year-old paratrooper here to commemorate that day by making one more jump. And he's carrying precious cargo, a parachuter's patch entrusted to him by the granddaughter of a veteran in an emotional meeting.
It's okay to cry. I treasure this.
It's the only thing that he kept, and he gave it to me.
The patch, very important to her grandfather.
And he told me that it was just a symbol of the day his life changed forever.
And so at the grand age of 97, this time strapped to a partner, he makes the jump to mark the sacrifice of the thousands who died that day.
Nobody got hurt.
One of the increasingly few survivors who was a witness to one of the most important battles in history.
Thank you for my freedom, sir.
Lester, it is impossible to watch that without a lump in your throat. You've been talking to so many veterans, you know. What are they saying about that day all those years ago? Did they realize that they would be a part of history?
I don't think they did, Savannah, and I talked to some of them about that, and they knew there was going to be a landing. One of them said, look, we had practiced it on different shores in England, and we never knew when the day would be. He says he was 18 years old, and so didn't know what was going to happen. And you're at that moment just fighting to get on shore. And now all these years later, they see all this, and they're stunned by the celebration. Most of them, at the end of the war, simply went back to their lives and jobs and families and the mundane stuff.
It was such a fitting tribute this morning, Lester. So many moments that were moving. The veterans who were there, a few dozen as I understand it, those D-Day veterans, how did they take in this ceremony this morning?
Well, the ceremony is still, some of it is still underway, so I haven't been able to talk to anyone who has attended that. But I think there's a genuine sense that they don't want to be heroes. They believe the heroes are under those graves behind me here at the American Cemetery. And, you know, they appreciate the honor. I will tell you that they are celebrities around here. We've run into some of them, and they're all pausing for pictures every few feet. They are the toast right now as people remember 75 years after that historic moment.
Wow.